What's going on, guys? We are back testing out a few new things back here. Gonna continue on with that pause drill I was doing the other day. Just give me a hot second. Pull up the chat over here in case anyone pops in. If I can. Alright, there we go. So, did a little bit of, actually, let me just make sure the mic, you may hear an echo here for a second. Alright, never mind. We're good. Did a little bit of, networking workarounds, moved some routers around inside. Again, trying to work out some bugs back here for some future live streams, but recorded yesterday, actually hit the ball pretty good. Did the new series, which you guys will be seeing on Monday, first episode of that, which I'm excited about. But actually, for not playing much recently, hit it actually pretty decent yesterday, and I think part of that was some of those swings we took a few days ago doing this pause drill. So figured the nice days here in New England are going to be very soon coming to an end. So a little bit sore from yesterday, but really nice out. Figured I'd come out, warm up for a little bit, hit some wedges, and then take some more swings with that pause drill, while simultaneously testing out some new things that I have going on as far as live streams, kind of behind the scenes that you guys won't really see or know about. But the other one seemed to be working fine. It's just I moved, like I said, I moved some routers. I have a main router, and then I think it's called like a satellite, basically like a secondary kind of mesh network extender type of thing. I moved that a little bit closer to back here, so we'll see. Not that last time a few days ago when I came out here, it's not that the connection was dropping out or anything, but this one should be super stable. Unfortunately, it seems like with these vertical streams, 720p is all you're going to get, no matter how good or how fast, how strong your Wi-Fi coverage is, which is a little unfortunate, but we'll see. Maybe not. Maybe that was just because the stream the other day, that's all it could handle, kind of bandwidth wise. So maybe once I finish this one, if I go back inside, maybe it'll actually be 1080p. I don't know, but that's about it. I was debating bringing some headphones out, but I realized if I had music or a podcast going in my headset, that I wouldn't be able to have the chat pulled up on my phone over here. Can't have a YouTube video playing at the same time you're listening to music. I guess I could have brought out, I guess I have one. Ooh, an extra phone, but the whole point of these live streams are kind of impromptu, a little bit easier to just come out and get going. So man, I'm hitting these thin. A little bit better there. If I had to guess, I really like that feeling of that pause drill, like I was saying I was doing. If I'm able to work on that maybe a handful more times over the next couple weeks, I feel like that will just become part of my swing, like I was talking about last time, kind of muscle memory, and not have to think about trying to do that. It'll just kind of happen naturally. But basically, I'm just warming up here with a 60 degree. Not that these are that great, but eventually I'll get over here to like pitch a wedge and go through the bag, probably down to about 5 iron, what I did last time. And The idea is you just come up here, pause, which feels like eternity, bring the hands down, let them drop, and then basically swing from hip to hip, letting the club drop more into the slot and swinging more from the inside. Was debating getting out on course this afternoon, but took a bunch of swings yesterday recording, so I figured this may be a good happy medium. Not have to bring out all the laptop and equipment and everything else for GS Pro. Just come out, work on the swing, probably be better in the long run anyways, and then be able to get some more stuff done later on versus driving to a course, paying to play, and committing 2 hours at a minimum for 9, especially on a Friday afternoon with the weather the way that it is. Alright, those are enough 60 degrees. Literally, I've said it before with these wedges, but I'm swinging pretty easy. These wedges that I got on Amazon, they literally, let's see if I can get this, literally take the cover off the ball. You guys can see that. Like these milled grooves, which is still pretty new, but literally tears the cover off the balls. Alright, we'll start with the approach wedge. Pause drill time. UPS coming down the road. I don't think it's coming here, although I did order some stuff. As you can probably hear my dog there. Alright. No, I just turned around. Pause drill. So like I was saying, basically the idea is coming up, pausing, bringing those hands down, and then ripping through, or at least for the time being. Hit it somewhat gingerly until I'm got a little bit of a sweat going here. It feels, this drill, there's something about it, just feels so good when you connect on them from there. That felt pretty good, and kind of strange swinging, pausing at the top, taking that second, and feel like I'm swinging easier. It feels like, I'd be curious, that one wasn't great, that was thin. Be curious how far some of these are going. This is just an approach wedge, so if I hit it good, usually about 125, 120, 125. The super pure flush strikes are few and far between, so 125 is the goal, and I know I'm capable of hitting that. Hit one, a choke down. I was trying to hit it 100 yards yesterday in one of the videos. Tried to choke down and hit a 100-yard shot, and I sculled it. That was a little bit thin. Sculled it really bad, and I hit this club 130 yards. My hands are actually, from not playing in a while, my hands are actually kind of sore from holding the club yesterday. I don't know if that speaks to how I'm gripping the club. Probably a little too firm. Kind of strange though. Generally the rule of thumb is they say you're supposed to hold it like you're holding a baby bird. Nice and light. You don't want to have a super tight death grip on it, but someone like Bryson, not that I'm comparing myself to him, but someone like that, he says he grips it at, remember he mentioned in a video, grips it at like a 6, 7, or 8 out of 10. Otherwise he says he just snap hooks it, which is kind of a bit against conventional wisdom, or conventional teaching, I guess. That's what I need to do right there every time. Have that back more towards the target, come through, release the club, and then come up, having the chest stay down and through it. Alright, go with the pitch wedge. Maybe I'll go through. Last time I spent a while. I get to talking with people coming in here and mentioning stuff in the chat. Spent a while on certain clubs, but I may hit about 10 or 20 and rotate through the clubs a little more frequently on this one. We'll see. I don't know how long this will last, if I'm going to feel some of that fatigue from yesterday from hitting a bunch of shots. But that's the nice thing about these live streams. We'll end it when we end it. No set time, set amount of shots, set amount of holes. Should have just brought the bucket over, but that's good enough. A little bit toey. That's where it needs to be every time. That's the swing we're looking for, or at least contact-wise. I don't know how the swing looks, probably not great, but contact-wise, that's what I'm looking for. Let's do a super long pause on this one, see how that feels. Definitely exaggerated on that one. Oh! That was one of those I was saying the last time. Sometimes you pause for so long back there, I lose relation of where the club head is, you kind of lose it behind you. I need to get in the habit, though, of doing more of these swing training type sessions, and have the feeling of not worrying about where the ball goes, and definitely not worrying about how hard I'm hitting it or how far it goes, and just work on that field tempo, putting a smooth swing on it. I enjoy gripping it and ripping it, hitting it pretty hard, but sometimes that's counterintuitive and works ends up working against you. Sometimes the harder you swing, the shorter it goes. A little chunky on that one. That was better. A little bit toey, but go with the 9 iron if you guys are in the chat. drop a comment down below. Let me know where you're tuning in from. If you're a golfer, if you hate golf, if you just happen to stumble across this. Alright, 9-iron. Bit of a toe pull on that one. A little bit thin on that, but that was better. And this ball's got a crack in the cover. That one's no bueno. Can't imagine. Probably not a great idea to hit a driver or a wood, something with like a actual head on it. Usually irons, these are forged so they're a little bit softer, but generally speaking irons are pretty indestructible, kind of hard to mess up, so I don't think that would do any kind of damage to the club, but probably sound and feel pretty terrible if I were to hit that. That's better. That was a thin duck hook. Better contact there. I was thinking, it was funny, I was in a bit of a slump and took a break for a while, but I played pretty decent yesterday, so strange when you're not playing great, you sometimes makes you want to play less, and then sometimes you play good, makes you want to come back out as soon as you can, play some more, see if you can pick up where you left off. That felt pretty flush. Maybe. For a couple rounds. I don't know. I wouldn't want to mess up my driver doing this, but maybe for a couple rounds I'll do this pause drill while I'm playing a simulator round. So as I'm playing actual holes, do this and kind of further cement that feeling of pausing half a second, dropping those hands, keeping them back a bit more towards the target. That's the one right there. That was a crappy top flight, so sounded and felt pretty terrible, but if that was a more premium ball, that one was hit pretty good. Very curious, like I said, once I go back inside, if I can see any difference in the stream quality now that I moved some of that internet equipment around. I have a feeling though for this one, it'd be a better test if once I'm able to come out here and do an actual full live stream with GS Pro. I'm sure there'll be some hiccups there for the first couple. I doubt I'll be able to nail it and get it perfect exactly how I want it the first 1, 2, or 3 attempts, but get there eventually. Had to order some extension cables on Amazon, those are coming. says we got 8 people in here. If you're in here, say what's up. Give me something to talk about instead of me rambling here by myself like a madman, just talking about anything and everything. Oh, that was really heavy. Better, but the cuff is a little bit open on that. Gotta have that feeling. I get most of my swing tips and swing advice from TikToks or Instagrams or YouTube shorts. There's one that I've seen a couple times. There's a guy with like a long metal stick with like a orange, I think he called it like a baseball on it. And he was telling the person they were indoors at a simulator, and he was saying, if you were to come down, he was basically holding it like back here. And he was saying if you were to come down from the top of your backswing and you were to hit the ball that he had on like a stick like down here, he was saying basically coming down like that, that's going to be a fade. But if you get that feeling of kind of turning the knob a little bit, basically shutting down that club face a little bit more and coming down more with the club face a little more square or shut, that would be more of a draw swing. So on top of this, with letting my hands drop, just going to get that feeling of a little bit of the bowed wrist, or just that feeling of shutting down, squaring up the club face a bit better. A little bit like that. It felt pretty good. That was thin and heely. Alright, we'll hit these 4. Pick some of those balls up. Switch over to the old 8 iron. Whew. I said it was nice out. It is pretty humid compared to what it's been like the past week or so. Club face was more square on that. I could feel that. I just hit a little bit behind it. A little bit thin on that, but that was close to what I'm looking for. Alright, pick a few of these up, take the bucket over there, a little bit more efficient, hit some 8 irons, keep working our way through the bag. Thinking I need like some type of mini entrapment similar to what they use at the range, where they have the guy in the fenced-in golf cart that everyone tries to hit, picking up balls. This is pretty awesome though, just in the grand scheme, being able to come out and hit essentially as many balls as I want. Doing this at the range would be more time intensive, more expensive, and granted you can see the full ball flight, but back here in the comfort of my own house, practicing, it's pretty cool. Obviously not quite as good as if you had those people out there that have the indoor ones, either in their house or in their garage or in their basement. That's preferred ideal situation where whether it's raining, snowing, morning, night, turn the projector on and hit balls whenever you want. Plus, if you have a dedicated space like that, you could literally go out there and just hit 5 balls or 500 balls because everything's already set up. Here's a little more time intensive for me. I gotta kind of bring stuff in and out every time. Obviously, don't want to leave stuff out in the elements. Oh. Alright. Thinking next time I'll come out and I'll do that step drill I was talking about. Kind of line it up here. Work on weight transfer. Stepping through it. Feels like you can absolutely hammer the ball doing that. You get like an extra gear. Flushing the ball like that. Feels awesome too if you've never done that. Similar to a Happy Gilmore. Obviously Happy Gilmore you're taking a full step and it requires a lot more timing versus just having your feet together, ball forward, and then oh, may have been the worst one yet. A little bit better, but that was still pulled. That was like a pull draw. Whew. This may end up being a shorter stream than I expected. I am for not moving. Granted, I'm taking a bunch of swings right in a row, but for not moving, breathing kind of heavy. And I consider myself in decent shape, but swinging shot after shot after shot after shot. Chunky. That's better. Crazy how much difference when those hands drops, and mainly on that one, just that, probably a fraction of an inch, just twisting my wrist, closing that club face. How much better contact. If anyone's in here and you happen to see any type of lagging, stuttering, I'd be curious. Granted, not necessarily 100% sure if it's my end or your end, but if multiple people, it should be really good. Like the internet, the Wi-Fi signal and the speed should be much better now than when I was out here a few days ago, but let me know if you see any lagging, stuttering. May need to do some more tweaks. Oh, that one was right out of the middle. That one felt really good. Why can't I do that every time, 100 times in a row? That's the question. I need to bottle that. That was pretty close. That was 2 in a row. I need to bottle that, be able to do that on command. That one go through? How'd that get behind the net? I think it was stuck here and maybe popped through one of these. That's the problem. I need to really secure these a little bit better. I've got a bunch of nets over here at this point, but problem is this base net is on its last leg. I really need to probably put just an additional net here, have the weight pulling it down, and then Nothing will be able to get through there. Not that balls are shooting through at a rapid pace by any means, but part of the reason I like playing back here is much more difficult to lose a ball. Pro tip for any of you guys out there, I mentioned it last time, but over here looking at it, I've been saving some up. If you guys want a perfect tee height, shout out to Smoke Sim Golf. Perfect tee height, just a water bottle cap. It is the perfect, if you're teeing up an iron or even like a hybrid, 3 would be a little bit short, but it's essentially the perfect broken tee height that you would use on a tee box. Especially if you have a mat like this. My old Country Club Elite strip, I could put tees directly into it, but something like this, it's just gets it up and off the ground just a tad bit. Perfect height. Oh, and then I go and thin it like that. That's not what we were looking for. Especially on a regular swing teed up like that. That's better. Crazy with that little bit of, was that probably a quarter of an inch, if that. Just that little bit of getting the ball up and off the ground. How much better contact you can get without making thin, fat contact with the mat quite as much. Ball return, if I could somehow figure that out, a ball return, like a little bit of a ramp. If you guys saw that putting mat I have, if I could figure something out like that where the ball hits, collects in an area, and then just comes back to me, it'd be pretty nice. Oh, that was the one right there. Crazy the feel you can get. Granted, I'm wearing 2 gloves. I know it's unconventional, but the feeling of these forged TaylorMade P770s, when you hit one pretty good out of the sweet spot, buttery soft. You always hear people say that. Granted, these are more players type of irons. If you were a newer golfer, you wouldn't be able to tell. There's not that much of a difference between, like I had a set of Sim 2s before. When I hit those out of the sweet spot, especially with the speed pockets, those felt really good too. But these are a fraction, when you hit them good, fraction softer. That was a pull. I think I'm going to stand a little more over the ball. I'm thinning most of these. That was better. You're gonna see, I think I have a water bottle in my bag. Got half of a Diet Coke. That's not actually exactly ideal for hydration purposes. Put the mic in a slightly different spot today on my hat. Notice that when I do the videos, these are the mics that I use. I boost the audio, but it seemed like not that you couldn't hear me on the last one, but audio was a bit low. You probably had to have it turned up. 75% all the way. Hopefully this is a little bit closer to my mouth so it's a bit louder. I just prefer these mics because I'm able to charge my phone at the same time. Some of them, with those adapters, they don't have the charging port on them, so if your battery life on your phone is not the best, especially being live like this, or even just, I guess, recording, you can drain the battery pretty quick versus I have my regular phone over here plugged into a battery pack. That's what I have over there too. Alright, we'll go this one and 3 more with the 8 iron, move to the 7. Would be very curious if I could find a cheap set. Been thinking about it, seeing more and more people go to it. Find a cheap set of the 1-length irons would be, I'm sure, very strange getting used to it, but it does make sense to have maybe not so much down to like the 60. I don't know how far bracing goes, but having everything that basically the length of a 7 iron, consistency wise, you would think would help. You're standing the same exact distance away from the ball every time. Might have gotten a little too used to this drill. Now I'm pull hooking things. Go from a mainly slice as a miss. Now I'm coming, I think, too much from the inside with too much of a shut. A little bit better, but still. That was starting left and headed left. Oh, that was half, 3/4 off the Hosel. That was very close to Hosel Rocket territory, into the woods. Alright, we need one good strike with the 8 iron. Move to the longer clubs. Better, still kind of pull hooky, but feels like I'm hitting them pretty hard. Those two felt pretty good. Breeze just started to pick up. That feels really good. This shirt's about to be completely soaked sooner than later. saying I need to be more over the ball. Now I think I'm crowding it too much, hitting these off the heel. A little bit better. I remember Rick saying, I don't know who he was talking to, maybe my dad or Steve, one of the videos from Florida. He was explaining what the feel was like to, I think, hit a draw. He was saying you want to kind of be over the ball, kind of loose, have your arms hanging down. He said, which stuck in my head, said, loose and hanging down like salamis. Never quite heard that before, but certainly puts a picture in your head. Oh, that was heavy. Tell you what, if I ever able to get this drill down to where I'm feeling really comfortable doing this, there may be a new Pause King in town. Just kidding. That guy Ben Kruper, or whatever his name is. I think it's something like that. That dude is very, very good at golf. Dude hammers the ball. I was watching a YouTube short. He was at like a country club event or something. He was like outside. They had a TrackMan or a launch monitor. Dude was hitting it at like 120 up to about 121, 122 on the club speed, into the 180s on ball speed. He was carrying it 320, rolling out to 340. It's just insane. Don't know if I'll ever be able to say that, but that was better contact. Tough to tell on some of these if these are pretty crappy balls. Sometimes it's tough to tell if the contact was extra poor or if just the ball quality is extra poor. No matter how good you hit it, if you hit one of these super old, firm, top flight XLs, I'm sure you guys have come across these on the course. These things feel like rocks when you hit them. Chunky. Definitely feel like I'm coming pretty far from the inside on these though. Feels like the club's almost getting stuck behind me. I'm coming so far from the inside. Did a little double, triple pump on that one. There's one of those long drive guys, he does that too. I don't know what his name is. Ben something maybe? The dude that comes, you've probably seen him, he comes back here, he like pauses, comes back again, and just absolutely slaughters the ball. Last couple are better. Just have that feeling of my right elbow touching my side. That's the feeling right there. Those last three in a row have been pretty good. It's always that one little thought or feel that creeps into your head every once in a while that you kind of, that stays in your head and you're able to take it with you. A little bit healing on that one, but seven irons feel pretty good. Onto the 6. Maybe we'll work our way back up through the bag and then call it a day. Go down to the 5. Maybe I'll hit a couple 4 irons, but go 6, 5, possibly 4, and then go back up through the bag. Hit double with the 5, and then 6, 7, 8, 9, pitching wedge. Maybe approach wedge again. Quick intermission here. Give me a second. Oh, waiting. Worth noting, if you find any enjoyment of me just whacking balls out here, hit that like button. Consider subscribing. Notification bell if you want to see me go live again. Be on the lookout though. Like I said, I'm going to be trying to stream some full GS Pro rounds back here. Weather dependent. Oh, almost a Hosel rocket again. Technically, those are off the Hosels. I don't know if a Hosel rocket have to go sideways to be able to classify as a legit Hosel rocket, but that was definitely a just a straighter Hosel rocket, if there is such a thing. Hopefully that has become a recurring issue of coming a bit more from the inside. You would think coming through more like this exposes more of the Hosel. That's the one right there. Man, those feel good. With a halfway decent ball, good contact. I envy those of you out there that can just 7, 8, 9 times out of 10 flush shots like that. Don't get me wrong, hitting a longer putt feels really good. Wedge shot that lands exactly where you want it to, rolls out right next to the cup. That's good. Gotta love a good, well-struck driver. But there is something about that feeling of a very flush iron shot. Long iron, in particular. People seem to be cycling in and out of this thing. No one said anything yet, though. Kind of disappointing. I like coming out of here and conversing with you guys. That was way right. Cup face was wide open on that one. That one was way left. Alright, get a little Goldilocks swing here. Right in between those two. There we go. Another one through the back of the net. That's a trip on a ball. As I was getting a drink over there, Wi-Fi signal was pretty good, so all things streaming-wise should be improved. That was kind of my main concern, other than working on my swing, but again, trying to work out as many preliminary bugs as I can, because it'd be pretty frustrating both on my end and your end if I come out here, drag out the laptop and everything else, try to set everything up, and then the stream cuts in and out, stutters, lags, doesn't work, which no matter what I do to... Oh, that one was hit good. No matter what I do to try to prepare for a live stream, that may happen anyways the first time, because there's probably things that I don't even know about or thinking about that I need to possibly change around, but Thin and Healy. Planning on doing some yard work tomorrow. There is, from hitting so many shots here, and obviously where I stand right in here, there's a bit of some low spots. I should probably pull this mat up and put some extra mulch under these low spots. It's pretty darn even, like you're not going to get the ball to roll, like it's not that uneven where it rolls, but want to have as much of a level surface hitting area as you can if you're practicing. Otherwise, there's been times in the past, especially when I first started, I was standing in a dirt hole. You get used to hitting the ball even slightly above or below your feet, or slightly on an angle. You hit so many shots like that, that kind of becomes, again, muscle memory, a little bit of the new norm. And when you get back out on course, not that there's really such thing as a completely flat line on course anyways, but oh, abnormally quiet out here today. Usually there's at least one neighbor cutting grass, leaf blower, weed whacker, lawnmower, something yard work. We had that UPS truck, but generally when I come out here, there's planes coming over and stuff like that. All right, a couple more 6 irons, go to the 5. I can already feel my back's going to be sore tomorrow. Chunky. Hit about an inch behind that one. That was better. Gotta remember to play 7 iron pretty darn close to the middle of my stance, if not slightly up, and then move probably a half a ball up as I go from 6-5-4. Hey, what's up, Graham? First person in here to say anything. What up? For some reason, Graham thinks I hit it far, calls me Hulk sometimes. I don't know about all that. I'm certainly no Bryson DeChambeau, but he said, just finished practicing, playing on course tomorrow. Tomorrow AM, that is. That's awesome. Must have good weather. Really nice here. It's actually a bit humid. I've got a sweat going. Did you practice at home, or did you practice at your indoor facility? What do you do to practice? Did you just play some holes, or did you do kind of a drill like this where you worked on one particular aspect of your swing? Last couple felt good. And in honor of Graham, that'll do, pig. One of my favorite comments, Graham checks in on a lot of the videos throughout the years. Appreciate your support. One of the best ones I think I've heard. I was saying grip it and rip it, and he said grip it and chip it. Healy. All right. One more semi-flush 6 iron. We'll go to the 5. That's the one. And for anyone curious, not that anyone said anything, but I have a combo set of irons. 4, 5, and 6 are P790, and then 7 through approach wedge are the P770s. At the indoor facility, I shoot at target flags to dial in distances, and played around in good old virtual Ireland. That's pretty sweet. You said TrackMan, right? I think you said the TrackMan, the overhead TrackMans, the IOs. I never used a TrackMan. Obviously, those are the gold standard for a reason. But from what I've seen, the TrackMan simulator software is pretty good. Super expensive, but it's kind of what you sign up for when you get a gold standard pro level launch monitor, or in Graham's case, commercial indoor facility. It is really nice though, with more premium launch monitor, you saying you can work on your distances. I still have a little bit of question mark, kind of second guessing, so to speak, with some of the distances I get with the R10 being a budget launch monitor. Sometimes I hit it really good or really bad, and I kind of sit there thinking, all right, did that really go that far? I'm sure it was in the ballpark of that, but you kind of wonder if it was realistically as close to what Garmin said it was. If not, could be a misread, but something like a GC Quad or a TrackMan, you work on your distances with those, and you know for 99.9% accuracy if the unit is completely dialed in, which most of them are. You know for sure that the distances that you're hitting are spot on. Oh man, that was extremely thin and Hosel-y. Yes, we use the IO here. Yeah, those are sweet. An overhead unit would be pretty awesome. I know none of them are very cheap, but the Unicorn makes them. I know I think Pro T, and there's another one, like a kind of a lesser known brand that makes an overhead one. It'd be pretty awesome if you have the space in like a garage or like a loft area, like a dedicated sim area. You put that overhead, get everything up and out of the way. Pretty hard to, unless someone's actually trying to hit the unit overhead and trying to actually break it. I would assume they design it to where they're essentially impossible to hit. Get everything up and out of the way. Lefties can play, righties can play, and that would be ideal. Ideal sim setup if I could ever do that. Definitely has improved my overall game. Still ways to go, but coming along. Handicap is 2 strokes better than last year. Wow, that's pretty good. Be able to knock off even half a stroke. If you were able to do a half a stroke every single year, think about what that adds up to, let alone 2 strokes. I was saying that to someone else. Who was that? Back by Bay. Last time I was doing a live stream, he was saying he still hasn't been able to break 100 on a course. But I was saying I've experienced that too. But it's an awesome feeling if you're a higher handicap and you start knocking off strokes. Way easier to go from, you know, a 20 handicap down to a 10 than it is to go from a 10 down to a 5, or even a 10 down to a 0, or a 5 down to a 0. But pretty awesome when you can pretty rapidly knock a bunch of strokes off. Oh man, that felt good. That was just a regular swing, a little bit slower. One thing that I have been working on, in addition to all the holes and swings that I take back here, is just those I have 2 different indoor putting mats. Those help a ton. I got a new putter too, which could just be the honeymoon period, what they call it, with a new putter. But being able to drain some 1 putts, and at the worst, put them up to vast majority either between 1 or 2 putts. I was saying that too, that can knock off, even if you go down from a 3 putt to a 2 putt, on 9 holes, only half of them, that's 5 shots that you're saving. So that brings you down from a 45 to a 40. You get the idea, from a 40 possibly to a 35. Those putting strokes, unfortunately, some of those tap-ins, it's unfortunate it's the case, but they count just as much if you can hit it 350 off the tee. Those shots and those strokes all count the same on the scorecard, so that's why they say drive for show, putt for dough. Short game, 100 yards and in. That's where you're gonna gain or lose the vast majority of your strokes. It's one thing if you can hit it pretty good off the tee, if you have some decent long and mid irons, but really, obviously they call them scoring clubs for a reason. It's with that 100 yards and in is where you're gonna make and break your scorecard. That was a funny thing too, I've been talking about a little bit when I've shot this summer. This is my best ever summer. I don't know, I've never had an official handicap, so I don't know how many strokes I've cut off. Definitely better. I would assume, I used to say I was probably around a 12. Right now I'm probably closer to like a 10, and it's probably a little bit abnormally low because I shot 2 under on 9 and 1 under on 9. So that probably, with the handicap index of your best 8 out of 20, probably dropped it down a lot. But those rounds that were really low, I was able to go 2 under and 1 under. I didn't even feel like I was doing anything particularly well. Like, it just felt like a pretty average ball striking type of round. I just kept everything in play, and I had a couple longer putts, some mid-range putts, and even some shorter putts just happened to fall in the hole. And just like that, like I was saying, you're able to shoot in my case at least, career low scores without feeling like you did anything that spectacular. I was doing it last time. One thing that's really helping my wedges is when I was struggling a month or 2 ago, or maybe 2-3 months ago, when I wasn't hitting wedges very well, I came out a couple times, and for like an hour, I would just hit solely with my 60 and 56, hit like 50 to 100 just wedge shots left-handed, 50 to 100 right-handed, and then by the time you put two hands back on the club, it feels like you're almost cheating. Just getting those two hands working independently. Playing off 14-15 now, 13.3 off TrackMan. Christmas hopefully will pick up a new driver, 7-wood. That's pretty sweet. You got those new irons, right? I'm assuming you're loving those still. That's awesome too that TrackMan is that accurate and plays that accurate even in a simulator situation to where your handicap is that close on TrackMan to where it is in real life. You know, with Home T Hero, it's a pretty vast amount lower handicap-wise than what you shoot with Home T Hero, and even still with GS Pro, it's probably 5-10 strokes better what I would be able to shoot on GS Pro than what I would do in real life if I played like a simulator round and then the very next day went out and played. Never hit a 7-wood before. Some people love them though. My uncle just got, oh, he got a used 7-wood, 7 heaven wood. I just go driver, and if I hit it halfway decent, courses around here aren't that long. Honestly, longer. I play from the furthest back tees in GS Pro. Those are the longest holes that compared to anything around here. But if I can hit it halfway decent off the tee, usually I go driver, and then I go 3-wood, 4 hybrid, and then to the 4 iron. I also have a 3 hybrid, which I just keep in my bag, so I have 1 extra club. But I figure if I have it, I probably haven't hit that 3 hybrid in a very long time, but I figure if I have it, just leave it in the bag. But if I was playing like a tournament for money or something, I would go driver, 3-wood, 4 hybrid, 4 iron. I don't really even hit the 4 iron that much. Could probably come out of the bag realistically, but irons have been great. Callaway Rogue Max OS, that's awesome. Have you ever hit like a thinner, more player's iron? Not that these P790s are TaylorMade's most popular, best-selling irons for a reason, because they're that very close in between sweet spot of being a little bit chunky with forgiveness, but also that player's type. But those P770s are noticeably, when I would compare like the P770s to like my Sim 2s, those are noticeably thinner and smaller. Oddly enough, although they say they're less forgiving, which I guess they are, but oddly enough, if you're trying to do something with precision, I find having that thinner, smaller club almost makes me focus more and hit a better shot versus having all that extra forgiveness. You have more wiggle room. You don't have to be quite as precise. I don't know if that makes sense, but I believe, if I'm not mistaken, your clubs you were playing before were older, so those were probably more comparable to what players' clubs are now. I know some of the, especially early 2000s type of clubs, even up into like, yeah, I guess early 2000s, up to about 2005, 2010, some of those cavity backs are even smaller and thinner than what the players' type irons are now. Driver 5-wood, 3 hybrid, 5-through approach wedge, 5660. Yeah, we're pretty similar. My old set with the Sim 2s, the lofts were so jacked up. I think that pitching wedge was like 43 degrees. So with that Sim 2 set, I used to have to go pitching wedge, 48, 52, 56, and 60. Now with these 770s and 790s that are more conventionally lofted, I go pitching wedge, which I think is like 45, 47 degrees, maybe somewhere in there. And then I have the approach wedge that came with the set, which is 51 degrees. So that basically takes the 52 out of my bag. And then I go 56, 60. I don't know. I go through periods. That approach wedge isn't my favorite club by any means. Would almost rather, I figured I'd get it because it's kind of tough piecing together if you add on clubs after the fact. Generally, it's better if you buy the clubs all together if you can. But I'd probably be better off if I just got rid of that. got rid of that approach wedge, and then what I mean by get rid of it is just take it out of my bag, put it in storage somewhere, and just put a regular 52 in the bag that matches those wedges. But so realistically, I can hit. It's only obviously 1 degree difference from a 51, that approach wedge, to the 52, but I could essentially hit. I come up long most of the time with that club. That's the miss. So I can essentially hit almost all the shots if I just got used to doing a choke down pitching wedge, and then have that 52 for the 75 to about a $1.25 type of shot, right around 100. But except my driver is your 5 iron. I don't know about that. Sometimes, if I hit it good, maybe. If I don't, then sometimes I hit this 5 iron as far as like my 9 iron on a miss hit. But when were X18s? Were those early to mid 2000s? I'm not as familiar. I know pretty much my entire bag is TaylorMade, and when I research and got new clubs, I pretty much just stuck to TaylorMade. I kind of know what I like, so I know pretty much most of the lines with TaylorMade, but being able to memorize and know all the different lines from all the different manufacturers, I don't know the best. 2004? Oh, wow. Yeah, so those were, I mean, those are probably even tougher to hit and even smaller and thinner than probably my 770s are. I know those are, that was hammered, but it was pulled left. I know those were probably still considered game improvement irons, but it's crazy how they kind of change around which clubs are classified as which now. Oh, that was the very edge of the net. That one almost escaped. Another one off the hosel. No shot that 5 iron went further than your driver. That was about 100 yards, 150 yards to the right, if that didn't catch the net. All right, let's try a couple 4 irons, make our way in a little more rapid pace back through the bag, and then call it a day. How long have I been going? Probably about an hour. 73 minutes according to the live. Appreciate Graylem stopping in though, just getting me talking. That was probably 20 minutes right there without even noticing. Goes by a lot quicker. Oh. There should be a lot of hacker level irons. I could be the spokesperson. Yeah, me too. They do make those, I don't know if you mentioned those. Jeez, that was off the hosel too. Granted, this is a 4 iron, but they do make those, what are they, the Cleveland Launcher Halos or something like that. They're basically hybrid irons. Those are probably as much hacker level irons as you can get. I don't even know. Imagine hitting a pitching wedge or a 9 iron. That's like a hybrid. I don't know how you get any kind of control, launch, and spin on those things. But sometimes you see those people. They have those massive cavity back chipper style clubs around the greens. Some people get them to work. Consistency is going down the tubes with this 4-iron. Go figure. That was hammered, but it was left. Be the ball. No. Appreciate you stopping in. Enjoy the rest of your day too. I'm gonna be wrapping things up here in a little bit. Hit a few more 4-irons. Probably hit about 3 to 5 per. Oh man, those are hammered, but they're low and left. Hit about 3 or 5 more irons back up and through the bag, and then call it a day. I am soaked. Probably gonna be my workout for today. Hosel, those feelings sound terrible. Which makes sense because it is a terrible shot and strike. I think fatigue is creeping in here. I don't know what I slowed down a bit talking to Graham. I don't know what my swings per minute has averaged over this past hour and 15 minutes or so. Probably about 1 every 10 seconds. About 6 swings per minute. So what is that? 6 times 75. Probably in the couple hundred balls hit range at this point. All right. 3 halfway decent 4-irons, and then back up through the bag. Sometimes I wonder, something like this, get fatigued, you start getting sloppy. Even though I'm doing a drill, kind of mechanics break down. I'm wondering if at this point you hit almost the point of diminishing returns, and I'm starting to do more good than bad by continuing to swing. All right, never mind. I'm gonna end it on that one with the 4-iron. That was hammered. Let's do 1 flushed shot. One shot may take 10 shots, but 1 flushed per iron, and then I'll call it. So onto the 5-iron, see if we can flush one, move on. Kind of pulled up on it a little bit. Close. A little chunky. Might be here a while. That was better. That was the one. A little bit of a push to the right, but 6-iron. Thinking, I guess on the bright side, Graylin was able to pop in here and at least send some messages back and forth. And didn't mention that the stream was super laggy or anything, so hopefully, like I was saying earlier, hopefully everything's good connection-wise. Healy, spinny, slicey. That was better, but it was kind of a toey pulled duck hook. Ooh, that was a big old acorn. When I came out yesterday, there was a massive tree limb back there that fell down in the middle of a round. Scared me. That was the one. 7-iron. Kind of surprised. I was half expecting people to come in here and be egging me on to hit driver this time and last time. Not that there's 1,000 people in here, but oh, that was close. Better than the last two, but I want to end each club with the feeling of hitting it really good. Like that one. Obviously I can't see where the ball's going, but those feel like they're hit pretty hard. They should be pretty straight, whether they're little baby draws, pretty straight shots, or little baby fades, I don't know, but those are at least starting pretty straight, as you can tell by the net. Those feel like they're hit pretty well, and I usually, at this point, I have the feeling if I'm pulling something really far left with some left side spin, or if I'm starting it too far right, coming across it and slicing them, but what are we down to? 8-iron? Not bad, a little bit toey. Kind of far left on that one. Eight iron is where the speed pocket stops. You definitely feel the difference when you hit one with those speed pockets and the other ones. 4 through 7 iron. 8 iron definitely feels more just like a hunk of metal. That was close. That was like 90% what I was looking for. Just kind of hung back on it a little bit, popped it up a bit. Oh, that was close too. That was better contact. That one felt like I compressed it better. little bit thin. That was close as well, just a little bit chunky. My game is just a game of how bad the miss it is. I don't know why I try to expect being able to flush it repeatedly, but too thin, too fat, too left, too right. Heely-toey. Take that one. Alright, 3 clubs left. 9, pitching wedge, approach wedge. Hold it. Oh, that was hit pretty good, but I popped it up. Close. That was a weird follow through though. That was almost like a chicken wing. Found myself getting a little disoriented where I'm playing the ball position wise. You would think that the line down the middle would help, and it does a little bit, but hammering ball after ball after ball. Oh, definitely aren't terrible strikes. They're just not what I want to end it on for this 9 iron. That was a little bit better. I'll take that one. Pitching wedge. Crazy thing is about practicing like this, I could very well come out the next time I play and play even worse, but something like this is kind of just the way I think about it is putting kind of money, practice money, so to speak, in the bank. So whether the improvements show up the very next time I play, which is probably unlikely, or they show up weeks or months down the line, taking all these swings the way I have been definitely will pay off in the long run. Just depends when that time will be. Right out of the center of the face. That was just a little bit of a pop-up. Granted, this is a pitching wedge, so you want to get it up in the air, but I could take that one, but see if we can get one slightly better. Talk about a pop-up. Chunky and toey. Alright. Still a bit of a pop-up, but I was right out of the center of the face. And I am dripping sweat at this point, so kind of want to just hit one more good one with this approach wedge and call it a day. Not bad. I have a tough time telling on this mat whether I hit that good and that was clean contact, or tough telling exactly where I made contact with the turf, with the mat, if it's slightly before the ball or after the ball. Oh. Is it still going? I just walked over to the phone and it said it couldn't connect at the moment. It had me reconnect. I've been looking over here on my phone, have the live stream pulled up with the chat. It looks like everything was going good. It didn't seem like anything was lagging, but for whatever reason right there, maybe that was the issue. I'll have to go take a look, but like what I was saying, gonna wrap it up. Be on the lookout for more videos. First video of the new series coming out on Monday, so stay tuned for that, but appreciate you guys stopping by, and I'll see you in the next one.